Good morning from Yummy BTV. Wishing you all well today, sending loads of love as usual. This subject that comes up this morning is a very touchy, sensitive, and sad set of circumstances with what happens when a family member or someone really close to you is murdered. Now, I spent a lot of years with murderers of all different kinds. You've got the me and him scenario. If I didn't kill him, he would have killed me. You've got the serial killers for the gratification. We know how that works. You've got the hitmen that are premeditated to go and kill somebody with that in mind as they set off. And also you've got the domestic murders as well, husband, wife, that kind of stuff. And also when you're going to commit crimes for financial gain, it can end up tragically going wrong. I've seen it many times over the years, and you end up actually killing the person or somebody who's around the crime that you have set off to do. So there's all different types, and I listened for years and years. Sometimes I think I might have been desensitized to what it actually feels like to be on the receiving end of the victim side of things. Like the perpetrators, all I'm hearing is their stories, but never really much about the dead person's families, how they feel. You know, you watch telly, you've seen that it's torn families apart in some big cases, especially with child murders and things like that. Relationships are never the same when people lose real loved ones. You know, the blame game, could we have done anything different? But I'll take you back to 2017. I just finished doing half of an 8-year sentence after my 13-year sentence, where I did all of it and got another sentence straight away. We know the history of that. So I did 4 years out of that 8, halfway through, come out on license. Within 2 weeks, one of those mornings, my real sister rang. She's inconsolable, incoherent really, crying straight away, like 7:30 in the morning. But I knew straight away something terribly terrible had happened. So, you know, your heart's beating. Who is it? What's happened? You know, I had this kind of same familiar feeling like when mum died outside here. You know, it's a real painful thing, but that was from different causes. Now she blurts out that, in fact, it's my brother-in-law, Yankee, that has been murdered in his nan's house. Now, his nan, my nan, if you like, 80 years old, 2 assailants crept past her room to go and rob him. He was living that life, sadly. A very talented man as well, a man who could have been anything, and, you know, in a positive way, if he wouldn't have been involved in that life, succumbs to 2 people trying to rob him and murdering him in his own bedroom. Getting away, I hear, since I was away, they might have got convicted. I haven't really looked into it. I'm not really in touch with the family kind of thing now, as you know. But on that morning, after the phone call, she tells me that the body is still in the house. The police are outside. They don't want to move it yet. They're doing their forensics. So 8, 9 of us meet up at the house. I go to the house, and you know there's a dead body in there, and you know it's your own family. But I burst out crying. It's really, the pain was horrendous, and the ingredients as well. Obviously, I'm going to feel hurt with him losing his life. We know it happens in that life, but it's not something that you say, all right, just because it's that life that you're going to try and it's justify in your own head that, okay, it's bound to happen. You're still going to be very much hurt. And that's the first time that I had to suffer the feelings of such things, having heard about it for so long over the years in those long-term prisons. So I break down outside. There's a lot of squabbling outside, and, you know, I'm looking at faces. Kids are there. You know, my nephew's there. He looks terribly hurt. But also Granny as well. You know, for them to creep past that, as you know, for an 8-year-old woman to suffer that, because she didn't get to find, she didn't know that he was dead till hours later as well. So you can imagine the shock with that as well. But the feelings of being a victim now and understanding it from that side of things I'd never experienced before. I know loss of life seems to come very easy in that life now, especially for the youth as well. But the families that get affected, very, 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 very deep. People are never really the same again. I understand that. Probably tore some bits of my family apart as well. To be honest, when to make it even worse, I got recalled a week later before, I was meant to do the reading, my first ever funeral, but obviously I got recalled for something and missed that as well, the story of my life with that. But what a talented man Yankee was, my brother-in-law. I haven't really shared this with anyone, but I know many of you that I find it out here have lost family members and loved ones at the hands of perpetrators, I suppose, of criminals like me, for whatever reasons, or they've lost their life, or say they know some of you know somebody that's lost their life through, through being murdered as well. And how does it really feel? Do we ever get over it? Do we blame ourselves? Do we blame others? The thinking behind it all. But interesting to see as well through that life, especially in the long-term prisons. Not a lot. I've never met a lot of men that commit murder boast about their crimes. So the perpetrator, you're the perpetrator. You got to be punished for such a crime, and many probably go to their bed at night regretting what they did. Very few that are going to say, well, I'm glad I did it. I can live with that after what he done or she done or whatever. You can kind of justify it in your own minds and all that. But it's you that has to sit down in there and suffer for the rest of your life until it seems fit that you can come back into the community again, and you've got to live with that. And you also, if you've got conscience as well, you think about it. Years go by at the time, during the rage, and you feel like it was the right thing to do at the time. Many men, traumatized by their actions. You have to live with it. There's no way you can tell me after serving a long time that it didn't play on your mind, that you wish you hadn't done it, that you wish you would have taken a different course of action. I remember when I was outside the front door, my first initial feelings, I'm going to kill them. You watch when I can, that rage and that hurt, because you're feeling everybody else's pain as well. So that reaction then, who knows, would I have gone mad before I got recalled and done something silly? And then time goes by, you realize there's not really much you can do about it, because then you fall into the same category as murderers, where you couldn't control your own emotions, and you end up going there yourself. So revenge is an old thing, and one of the greatest adages of our time, where you react, oh, they done that to him, I'll do that to him as well. That's a regular thing in the long-term prisons as well, where people, my brother died, my sister died, I went back and I did this and I did that, but still you still have to live with it, and you still have to spend years and years away to think about it, if you get what I mean. And we know with life, it takes on different forms. Some men can cope and accept their part in things. Others just go absolutely crackers when they know they've got to spend 20-25 years away, and they've lost everything they stood for outside for one moment of madness, or losing control of your feelings, and they just end up fighting with the officers, running around, just not accepting, because you probably lose your girlfriend, probably lose all ties outside, things lesser and lesser, unless you've got great support, of course, which makes a lifer's time a bit easier in there, but not really. A lot of the time you faded from the memory, and you've got to pick up the pieces when you come out. But just thought I'd share that with you this morning. It'd be interesting to hear if any of you have suffered that kind of fate as well. But I know now exactly what it feels like, having not known about it, being on the receiving end before, because when you haven't felt something yourself, like I said to you, you can always sympathize with someone, you can always feel their pain, you can even have a tear for them, but until it's happened to you, you never really know what it really feels like. It's very painful. Coming up in a minute, a greatest warlords again. Sending loads of love.